Hello, my name is Simon Waits, and this is XB 3001 Percival. Now, Percival is a third-person action-adventure game set in the late 12th century and is based off the Arthurian Legend. So basically, the Holy Grail has been stolen from Castle Corbenic by the dreaded Red Knight, and our hero, Sir Percival, will solve puzzles, defeat enemies, and hopefully reclaim the ancient relic. So this is the main menu. If we click Start, we will go to Player 1. We also have a level select, because there are 3 levels. The first level, which is in a tutorial level, and Castle Corbenic is stormed by the Red Knight's forces, and the Holy Grail is stolen. Then we have in level 2, which is my level, so Percival is chasing the Red Knight's forces to a Motte and Bailey castle called Proud Castle. And in level 3 is that Percival storms the Red Knight's castle and reclaims the Holy Grail. And also we have a controls menu, standard controls. So you have a light attack for M1, M3, heavy attack. So a light attack is quicker but does less damage, and you have a heavy attack which is slower but does more damage. And you also have a block, interact, and grapple, where you can pull items towards you, but also you can swing. And yeah. So let's do start on level 2. This is my level. Okay, so the player starts off in this little area and some enemies start charging towards them. So the enemy on the right is a axeman and the enemy on the left is a swordsman. And the axeman is weak but does a lot of damage and is quite quick. But the enemy on the left is a swordsman who's kind of like the regular kind of grunt unit, and there just killed him, finished him off with the heavy attack. Okay, so when the player begins, they can sort of see the objective, which is this big castle in the background. They also can see this bridge, little drawbridge, which has been raised, and also they can see this blue line which sort of guides the player. So throughout the level there are these blue lines which guide to how to unlock these little gates or doors. Over here is a block and the player can bring the block towards me. And then we come to this. This is a lever, and so the player can press F or E onto the lever and it will stick the sword in, and it will open the door. Now onto this room to also possibly show the player, if he was a bit sneaky, to sort of look into the next area also, just if you wanted to have a bit more of an advantage. The player moves up into this area, is greeted with an axeman, but also a heavy enemy. Now the heavy enemy in the previous level, level 1, was actually the boss of the level, but in this level he is just a regular soldier, which is quite interesting. So we have this lever here, so if we press and interact it, see, it's going up too quickly, but if we follow this along, we might actually see inside there's another lever, and that's a red jewel, and over there is a blue jewel. So let's go and inspect what that one does. Inside this building there's a few more enemies also. Okay, so what the thing with the red jewel, when we pull it, basically it changes the time of one of the ones to the blue jewel, and to signify that, it's the blue jewel one starts glowing white. And so if we interact with it now, it will now lower down the bridge. And so when you're on the bottom of the this big staircase. You can see over there is part of the castle, and that's sort of where we're trying to get up to, over there. And so it's sort of reinforcing it to the player. So you might have noticed there is a purple bar in the top left. Basically, what happens is that the more you block, basically, if you're damaged, the damage then impacts this purple bar, and when that empties out, then you start taking proper damage. Here's a small gatehouse where there is a heavy, and I'm just going to show you what happens. So when you don't block and take damage, you can see a red vignette starts emerging. Around the player, and that shows his health instead. But also the player gains back health for killing enemies as well. When a player walks through, they can sort of see over there, but also they can see their current objective, which is to get into the keep, and that is over here. So if you follow here, we have this little pad that's hooked up to, it must be some sort of pad up there. So let's go and investigate. The player can also sprint using shift. See if we can do that, and pull the lever, and we enter. No, look, it's the block is now moving up and down. So this continues to move up and down, so the player is able to get on it, and then move up into the room. When the player enters into the keep, he's greeted with some enemies, which he has to defeat, and then into a puzzle. So the door to the bridge, which you saw earlier, is locked, but as you can see, these blue pipes, and this blue pipe goes into the cellar, and also over here we have a staircase which appears to be going down as well. So what the player can deduce is that they need to go down. But to get up, they need to go over there. So what the player will have to do is they can grapple up here, but they won't be able to grapple across because there's nothing there yet. So if they grapple over here, they then can find a block, and if they pull the block towards them, down, and then it opens up one of these. So we can move it there, and then swing across, and we are now entered into, and the players can descend some stairs, and when they look through this, they can actually see the way they just came from. And when they go down more, they enter into the cellar, which they agree to with an enemy, and then the second enemy comes around. If you can see there is the objective right there. So that's the little blue tube that was connected to the door, and there is a heavy enemy guarding it, and the lever right there. So just this thing. Come around here, and then we are going to face off against the heavy enemy. Now the keep section, which is where we are, this actually went through a lot of iteration. I'm quite happy with how it came out. And then this section especially, initially it was going to be a grapple, and you basically grapple up to the top. You might notice there was a blue door there, and initially it was going to be a grapple to get into here, like a secret door or something. But instead I had a staircase, just kind of relax the player a bit when they come up, and then there's a little tube to the door that comes through here. Now the player has access to this bridge section, which you've been seeing throughout the level. On the bridge there is a plethora of enemies to fight against. I can sort of charge forth. And, it really tests capability to block. As well, and then finally, before they reach this gatehouse section, they are greeted with a heavy enemy once more. It's one of the toughest foes. Now then, to this gatehouse, and then again there's a similar puzzle. So there's a door here, and there's the grate that's going into the ceiling this time. And if you can see to our right, there is also a spiral staircase which we can ascend into this spiral staircase, and we enter into this large room. And there's a pressure pad here, so you actually can put these blocks on pressure pads. It was introduced in the previous level, but with this one, and you can move it towards, and then finally back here. And then what happens is that door previously has been shut, and then this trapdoor has been opened, so the player can just hop down, and then this door has also been opened. Now that exists just it's easier, kind of like a little escape route, so it's a little bit easier. The player hops down here, encountered with the boss of the level. Now the boss of this level, in the following level, will become a regular enemy, akin to how the heavy became a sort of more regular enemy. And you can either face against him in single combat, or if you're a bit more sneaky, you can actually just drop the cube on him and it will fade to black and go into the next level. Let's see. One final thing to note, if you press escape, you can pause the game, where you can restart a given level. So we click restart here, restart the level again, but also you can resume or go back to the main menu. But yes, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.